win the point. You simply need to not need her approval to stay comfortable in what you said. That's fair. I'd see it differently. Or even just a quiet smile and a redirect. A man who isn't threatened by her disagreement is a man she can actually talk to. The third type is the emotional disclosure test. This one is subtler, and it might be the most meaningful.
Does it make you uncomfortable? Do you rush to fix it or minimize it? Do you change the subject? Or can you stay present with her in it, not solving, not redirecting, just receiving? That sounds like it was a lot. I hear you. How long have you been carrying that? The ability to hold space for someone's emotional reality without flinching, without problem-solving it away, without making her feel like she's too much, is one of the most attractive things a man can offer. And she learns it not by asking you about it, she learns it by watching what you do when she brings something real to the table. The fourth type is the consistency test. This is less of a single moment and more of a pattern she's watching over time. Are you who you said you were? Do your actions align with your words? Are you present in the ways that matter, not just when it's easy? This one isn't a trap. It's simply lived observation, and it's completely fair. It's what any thoughtful person does when they're deciding how much to trust someone. The only way to respond to this kind of test is to be who you are consistently over time. There's no clever phrase for it. There's no tactical response. It's the simplest thing and the hardest. Just be real, keep being real, and let that accumulate. I need to pause here and say something important, because some of the content out there on this topic does men a disservice. If you start walking through your relationships with a mental checklist, is she testing me right now? What about now? Am I passing? You will poison every connection you have. That's not awareness, that's paranoia. And paranoia shows up. She can feel it. There's a version of knowing about tests that makes men more anxious and more performative, not more grounded. If you're responding to her not because it feels right and true, but because you've calculated the optimal play, she will sense that calculation, and it will feel hollow. Real emotional steadiness isn't a performance of stability. It's actual stability. The goal of everything I'm sharing today is not to give you a script to run. It's to help you understand what's happening at a deeper level so that your natural response, the one that comes from a grounded man who knows himself, lands correctly. You cannot fake groundedness. You can only build it. And the way you build it is by doing the internal work, not by memorizing the right phrases. The phrases I'll share in a moment are useful, but they're useful because they're true, not because they're tactics. One of the most valuable skills in any relationship, romantic, professional, personal, is the ability to read friction without absorbing it. Friction arrives. It's going to. Two people with different wiring, different histories, different needs, interacting with each other, of course there's going to be friction. The question is what happens inside you when it does. Most men have one of two default responses. They fight, push back, defend, escalate, or they flee, shut down, go quiet, become unavailable. Neither of these is the response of a grounded man. A grounded man feels the friction. He registers it, and then he makes a conscious choice about how to respond, not because he's suppressing his reaction, but because he's not controlled by it. This is what emotional steadiness actually looks like in practice. You feel the pull to defend yourself. You notice it. You take a breath. You feel the urge to go cold. You notice it. You stay warm. You stay in the room, not because you're performing patience, but because you're actually present. Here's a useful practice. When friction enters a conversation, before you respond, ask yourself one question. What's actually being said underneath this? Not what was literally said, not the most uncharitable interpretation. What is the actual emotional signal coming through? Usually it's something like, I need to feel seen right now. I'm uncertain about this. I felt dismissed earlier, and I'm telling you indirectly. I care about this, and I'm not sure you do. When you can read that signal instead of reacting to the surface text, your response changes entirely, and so does hers. Let's talk language, because understanding is great. But in the moment, when friction shows up and your nervous system is activated, it helps to have actual words. These aren't scripts. Think of them as anchors, language you can reach for that keeps you in your body and in the conversation. When she pushes back on something you said, that's a fair way to see it. I'm thinking about it differently, and I'm okay with us not landing in the same place. This is direct. It doesn't cave, it doesn't attack. It holds the frame that two people can see something differently and both be fine. When she goes quiet or seems distant, I notice you seem a little checked out. I'm not going anywhere. Whenever you want to talk, I'm here. This is not demanding. It's not cold. It says, I see you. I'm stable. There's no emergency. That's very calming to a woman who's testing whether you'll panic. When she shares something heavy and you don't know what to say, thank you for trusting me with that. I don't want to rush past it. Tell me more. You don't need to fix it. You don't need to have the answer. You just need to stay present and make her feel received. When you feel accused or challenged unfairly, I want to understand what you're actually saying. Help me hear what's underneath this. This keeps you out of defense mode and invites her into a real conversation. It's mature, it's disarming, and it works not as a technique, but because it's genuinely what a grounded man would do. When she asks, "What are you looking for?" or "Are you serious about this?" the pressure questions. Answer directly, not defensively, not with more questions. I'm building something real. I move at a pace that I can stand behind, and I want to get to know you well enough to know if this is the right direction for both of us. That's not a perfect answer, but it's an honest one. And honest is always better than polished. I want to close this episode with something I believe deeply, because I think it matters more than any of the tactics or phrases. These moments, the withdrawals, the challenges, the emotional disclosures, the pressure questions, they are not games to defeat. I want that to land. When a woman brings friction into a connection, she is not your opponent. She is someone who has been hurt before, maybe many times, and she is quietly asking whether you're safe, whether the version of you she's been experiencing is real, or whether it's a front that will collapse the moment things get hard. If you approach these moments with a "how do I win this" mindset, you will miss the entire point. Because even if you pass the test, you'll have passed it as a strategist, not as a man she can actually trust. The goal is not to perform emotional strength. The goal is to be emotionally present, genuinely, sustainably, over time. That requires internal work. It requires you to know who you are, know your values, understand your own emotional patterns, and have enough self-awareness to stay grounded when the pressure is on. It requires you to see her as a full person, not a puzzle to solve, not a challenge to overcome, but someone navigating real uncertainty and hoping you're who you appear to be. And when you can hold that frame, when you can walk into the friction with genuine curiosity instead of defensiveness, with warmth instead of strategy, something shifts. The tests don't feel like tests anymore. They feel like conversations, because that's what they always were. That's our episode. How women test emotional strength, and more importantly, how to meet those moments with the kind of presence that actually means something.
If this landed for you, share it. There are men in your circle who need this conversation. And if you haven't already, hit the thumbs up before you close out. It tells the platform this content is worth showing to more people, and that matters more than you'd think. I'm Mia Maya. This is Various Views. I'll see you in the next one.